few minutes before the news. Let's see. Let me remove this, and then I can restart with the bulk of the group after the news. I just want to see what happens here in the next couple of minutes. So you guys overnight, hopefully managed to survive, right? We broke down below 930, so we've been hovering just below that support area, which we held yesterday, right? So the fact that we're holding below gives me the idea that we're going lower, right? So, but this is what happened to us yesterday. So our moves from yesterday, everything closed into profit. And then I left everything alone, and here we are now. So I'm just waiting for the news to come along, and we'll be able to restart from hopefully a lower level, right? I do want to sell from higher. Like ultimately, I'm hoping to be a seller near 110, right? But we have to let this finish first. Today, somewhere around 880 would be a good place. Let's just draw a line there before I get too deep. Right around here. Right, so just by looking at the daily candle, we have lower lows to come, right? That's just one assessment. The news might tell us otherwise. We'll see what comes in the next few minutes, right? I suggested in the chat room I wanted to buy from lower, so I wanted to buy from that support area that I highlighted, only that so that I can sell it from higher high, right? So it is intended, to play for the next move. Let's just wait this out. My wife and daughter came back from holidays this morning. I went and picked them up at the train station. Yeah. Ready for day 2. 2 minutes. Let's put a 5 minutes on here just to see the news. I have my 880 already lined up right around here. All right, so once the news comes out, we'll have a better idea of what we're supposed to do.
1 minute before the release, stand by.
Right, so again, as usual, we don't want to fight the US exceptionalism, right? There's always more money to spend. The numbers are in line or way, way off, right? So if it's in line, we know what to do. If it's way, way off, we play the outcome, we play the reaction. So. Those of you that were
10 seconds before the release, stand by.
following me with gold yesterday are clearly in the money today. All right. So we know what to do. All right. We want to be buying from lower. All right. So let that play out. All right. Wait a few minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes. All right. So wait a few candles from here. And then because we have this idea that we want to be buying from down here, right? Maybe we could sell this stuff for 2 pips, 2 pips, 2 pips. Right? Does it look like it's going to work for us if we were to sell? Right? The resistance is holding, right? If we get above the resistance and hold the resistance and keep going, that becomes support. And so that will change our bias. That will change what we're assuming, right? But if we go to the daily, and just look at the daily, as if we were coming to the computer right now, comparing today with yesterday, we've made a lower low, we've made a lower high. It's a red candle. There's room left to roam, and I think we're going to do it in a downward direction. Right? We have support right below us, and I assume that's where we're going to be finding our full average daily range. The average daily range is 79, and to get us to that support area is about that would bring us to an 80 pip day, right? So sell whatever you see here, right? Sell it for 2 pips, 2 pips, 2 pips. Right? So grab your box, go here, right? And anything above here, you want to sell it, and you want to sell it towards support. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing. We're building for the next move. It's pushing up, and ultimately we think it's trying to go down, right? So we want to make money with that behavior. And so we're now in box number 2, and we only have 1 click in box number 1. Or did we have 2? No, we had 2, sorry. So now I have 4 clicks in this space here. Right? In this space here. And so let's repeat that again. Right? We're still testing that 930 level. Right? We want to buy from lower so that we can sell it from higher later. Right? Something like this. Right? So this is what we're looking for right now. And if we look at this on an hourly scale, we may be changing our mind depending on what happens here. Right? So this is that move. Remember the way we measure stuff, right? With our boxes. So this move has gone up 1, 2, 3 boxes, and I'm selling this. Right? So I'm selling this because of this. If I'm right, I make money in a few minutes. If I'm wrong, I'll be fixing these trades in a few minutes. Right? I'll be looking for some kind of a break even, some kind of a move away from here so I can sell more somewhere around plan B, which would be around here. Right? And this becomes where I want to sell again. Right? So I'm a seller up here because I want to buy down here. Right, so we've closed 3, 4, 5 trades already, 3 trades. Let's recycle some of these. So this is the idea behind waiting for the news, because the actual event is one thing, and then the reaction to the event is what we end up trying to uh, take part in, right? And we're trying to figure out where to take part in this. And to remember the ladder that we built, well, this is where you start to build it, right? So you have your ceiling, let's put in the floor. And let's draw the lines in between the ceiling and the floor. Right? I'm just using my mind's eye. This is dirty math, right? I'm just trying to see where support and resistance might be, in general. And then I'm trying to watch price go through these levels like it's walking up and down a ladder. Okay, so if I can push up a little bit more, I'd sell that. Let's move this over here so we have a better measure. This goes over there. All right, so green in this upper box is a sell. Boom, boom. And if you're following me on gold too, I'm selling gold right now to at 2045 to get to about 2015 or so, 2010. Right, so remember that pullback that we expect to play between the hours of 8 and 8:30? Right? Is this what we're building right now? Right? We're pulling back against what's been happening over the course of the night, over the course of the last 16 hours. Right? So this is the idea. I show up on schedule, I see the environment that I'm in, I expect something similar, something that I'm familiar with, and then I exploit it in that fashion. Right. So if I can see another green candle here, I'll sell that. Sorry, I was looking left. I have other things running on my other monitor. Perfect. Beautiful. Right, that's what we want to see. And so coming back below 930 right here, that's awesome. Right? That's that level that we saw on the way down. We wanted it to hold overnight. It failed to hold overnight. This level here, and we tested it just now, and we're pushing away from that level just now, right? So I'm still looking to go down to about 880, 890, right? Somewhere around here. So let's measure boxes. Let's go about, ooh, that's about 60 pips. From the low, how much is it from the low? Yeah, about 3 more boxes from the low. All right, so if we make a new low, maybe we can go another 3 boxes or so. This should be down here, right there. Okay, so all our trades are closed. We're in the money, and it's only been 12 minutes. What are we supposed to do now? I guess we can keep trading. We won't call it over trading. We'll just call it a successful day. Let's see green. Show me a green candle here on my 5 minutes. and I'll take that sell trade. There we go. Do it 2 times. Beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see. Okay, so we've been selling the high because we're intending to buy a lower low, somewhere around 880, 890. And then from down here, we expect to go back up, right? Around the 110, 111 area. All right, so let's keep closing trades like this. Anything green at this level here, I want to sell green, right? This is support. And so this is a mathematical support as well as, physical, as you can see. And so I want to sell if it's giving me an opportunity, right? Anything green is expensive, figuratively speaking, and that's what I want to sell into. Support is failing to hold. See if it becomes resistance on the way back up right there. So sell. Now I have 2 trades. I have 3. Anything up in here, I'll put 1 more. There we go. All right, so now my break even is the dotted line. It's 1 or 2 pips away. Okay. We're still expecting to pull a stunt like this, right? This right here is already unfolding our way. It's just a matter of time. So maybe an hour or so, will be buyers from a lower low. Right, so green candle, I'll recycle a trade or 2. Right, so anybody that waited after the news, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes as suggested, you would have started to play up here. Right, and so the news itself is the random piece. And if you wait 3, 4, 5 minutes, you have an idea of what you can do next. Right, and same thing, I did broken the bottom instead. 4 or 5 minutes later, there's a good chance that you know what to do next. The news itself is to be avoided, right? Because that is randomness. And then I think we have minutes on the schedule too at some point. So yeah, the calendar is busy this week. All right, so here we are. We want to be recycling this stuff while we have the wind in our sails. Right, so a green candle is an opportunity to sell expensive. Right, so if it bounces off of here, any kind of a bounce, sell it. If it doesn't bounce from here, sell the next bounce. That retracement right there. And then I'm just gonna take this box duplicate it and get ready to catch a breakout. Right, so now I have 2 trades open. Three and 4. All right, so now we're really testing the low of the day. And the way we've set this up is with the expectation that the low of the day should give way and we'll be able to buy from a lower low. All right, so let's go take a look at that from the beginning again. All right, when we walked up to the computer, this was a red doji. Since the news has come out, we've added to the body of the candle. Right, comparing today with yesterday, we have a lower high. We're currently making a lower low, and we expect the lower low to end up somewhere near 980, or sorry, 880. Right, this previous area of support around here. Right, so in this zone here, this zone here, all of that stuff is what we're looking for. All right, once we get here, we play for this. All right, so as we approach, you could start to buy, right? Start buying from the people that think it's going to the South Pole. Right, because we're looking left, far, far left. Well, not far, far, but you know, enough to give us credibility. You know, to give our idea some credibility. And so a green candle, I'll sell. So now I have 5 trades. I'm going to wait and see if we go back up here, and that will allow me to spend 5 more. All right, just to recap from yesterday while we're all here. All of our trades from yesterday closed, right? This is where we worked as a group. As a group, everything closed within minutes after I left the group. I continued to trade throughout the day, and everything else that I did ended up closing at break even. And so this morning I started after the news, like we're supposed to. I don't have any swing trades. I'm just following my 3-pip plan. If we go and check record so far, I opened the account in December, so that was December. This is this January. I did take one tiny loss yesterday. Microscopic, like $3. Right? But everything else is in line. We'll see yesterday. 16 cents. That's more like it. Yeah, 16 cents. And so our yesterday's trade was $32 worth. Right? We did 220 pips. In total, in this particular account, so far we've brought it up to 3,100 pips. 1,800 on the long side, 1,300 on the short side. So in time, when you earn the right to scale up, those pips will earn you more money, right? So focus on making the same amount of pips every day, but over time, that same amount of pips is achieved with a bigger trade, right? So it's money in the making. Right. So our assumptions are correct so far, right? We started on the daily. We went down to the hourly. We drew the ceiling at the time. We drew the floor at the time. And then on the 5-minute chart, we filled in the gaps in between. We filled in the blanks. Right? We drew the ladder on the 5-minute chart. And now our 5-minute chart is playing through. And if we break the low, we're going to have to assume that we're testing for a lower low and then keep adding rungs to the ladder. Right? So this is what we're playing for. And ultimately, the next leg up is our goal, right? Right around here. And so if we can get near here, you might want to start buying, right? So the probability is what we're trading. We're trading the probability that this 880 support will hold, right? That's the probability that we're setting up for. While everybody else is going to chase this down, we're going to set up the stage for them to be wrong and for us to be right. Right? So, and even if we're right, it doesn't mean it's going back to the moon, right? It could just be a normal move. Maybe it's bigger than normal. Maybe it's a reversal, right? We'll play the facts. The best part of this system is the long tail stop. Right? It's the freedom. It's the sanity that I've been looking for all this time. You know, within that long tail stop, I have a lot of space. And that space allows me to learn how to behave. All right, so here we go. Let's see if we can repeat some of this. Right, more green candles, we'll sell that. Or some kind of rejection that at the bottom of that box here. Right? If you push up, I'll sell that. Like so. Right. This one. There we go. So now I'm done clicking. I have to wait and see if I can spend more money up here. All right. So those of you following, if you have clicks to spend, no, put some at resistance like we see right here. Right? And then save some for the top of the box and then save some for the other boxes. Right? We're pacing ourselves in order to not spend the backup that we have. Right? We don't want to click away the backup money that we have set aside, just in case we get into trouble. Right? So we're going down the ladder. We're assuming the assumption is the floor will give way and we're going to go lower. Right? And so right there, if you have a click to spend, spend it. Now that we're in box 2, I get to spend clicks. 1, 2. If I get up to the top of the box, I'll put 2 more, whatever's what allotted in this box. right? So having gone back up, I'll just take this and put it here. And now I'm getting ready for a leg up, a move up, right? Just as though this was a low right there, right? So if this was a low and we're going back up, we went up one box already, right? Is it going two boxes? Is it going back up three? Is it going to go make a double top? Right? If it is, I have money to spend all the way there. Right? I'm not giving up on the idea that I'm going lower on the day. I'm also not giving up on the trades that are already there, right? I don't need to give up on those trades. My stop loss is way, way, way far away. And that space is the sandbox, right? I'm allowed 4 boxes of space before I get to the stop loss. And so I will use all the way up to pip 35 to do what I need to do, right? Something like this, right? So there we go. One click, right? So now I have 2 left for this box. If I look to my left, we have a level right there, right? In this zone here. This, this, this. I'll put my clicks there if it gets there. Oh, right. So we're spreading our risk, we're spreading our money, we're taking advantage of volatility that's right there in front of us. Right. So instead of getting pushed and pulled or poked and prodded and being in stress mode all the time, I would rather be trying to make use of the space instead of watching it go against me, so to speak. If it's moving against me, it's actually an advantage now, right? It allows me to do something. Whereas before, when it went against me, it only made me more anxious, right? So depending on your psychology and where you are in this journey, swing trades might not be for you just yet. This is where that system here comes into play, right? I'm selling because it's green, and I'm selling twice because I closed 2 trades already. Right, so if I just go and recycle my boxes, you'll notice in this method of trading, it's not set and forget. I'm always moving things. I'm always clicking on things. I'm always double checking things. Um, it's, it's trying to keep your finger on the pulse. On my other monitor, I'm looking at the dollar index. I've shown you guys this a few times. The dollar index is approaching that resistance area, right? The yields, right? I'm looking at bonds, I'm looking at treasury, I'm looking at a bunch of different things, all because I'm not trying to predict the euro, but I'm trying to see what else is impacting the euro, right? And what is the euro actually impacting itself? Right there would have been a good sell. If it pushes up, I'll sell one more. Right? I'm just trying to recycle my trades like we've been doing all morning. Right? And so if you guys missed yesterday, go check the YouTube channel. I uploaded the video, and at the end of the video, I put a snapshot of how the trades closed. I'll do the same thing again today. If I have open trades by the time I let you guys go. If I let you guys go with open trades, I'll upload a picture at the end of the video on how the trades finish. I doubt we'll have open trades when we leave, but you never know. All right. So again, the YouTube channel, go subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. It's for you to enjoy. Right. If I can recycle some of these trades, that'd be awesome. There we go. I saw a green there for a second. Last one. Let's wait to see if we're making money. Go. The strategy here doesn't require you to have a economics background or anything like that. It's focusing on the set of rules, on the set of probabilities, and it's devoting yourself to the system. I don't question why the move is happening. As long as I'm avoiding the news, I'm trading the reaction, right? I didn't even care to see what the number of the news was. If you notice, we waited for the ding, 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 and then I moved that window away and we just watched the candles. And we traded the reaction. The news is one thing, but the market reacts to good news sometimes different than it does the next day, right? So it's never the same. You can't trust what the market reads in the news. And so you have to just trade the reaction. Right? So we were measuring from here to there. How about we measure from the high to this breakdown now? And that puts us in this leg here near the bottom of this box, right? So if I can go back to the top of this box here, I want to sell. I want to recycle these trades like so right now. Boom. 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 Right? My targets are within the same box that the entry is in. There's an extremely high probability that we just waffle around in this box. Just like so. Right? So if it goes back up, I will repeat the same process. Right? And if we look on our 5 minutes, it looks like we're attempting to break down. Right? We're making a lower low on the day. Going to the hourly, we should see the same thing. Right? We see the same thing as a result of the news. And if we go to the daily, we should see our intended outcome being fulfilled. Right? Slowly but surely, it's one little baby step at a time. Right? Our little baby steps are 3 pips, 3 pips. And sometimes during the day, there's a lot of back and forth. And you picking one side only, you can make money on your one side, regardless of the color of the candle. Right? And so it's this back and forth that we target. The direction is just lifting your boat like the tide would. Right there, I want to sell. Right, so I just averaged in this box. I moved my white line up, and within a couple of minutes or a few minutes, we should be able to close some of these trades. Right, so we're not reinventing anything. We're just reusing the tools we have in our toolbox. Right? The way the problem is presented to us each day is different. We're using the same tools each day, right? It's money and time. And then when I go to my 5-minute chart, I can see what the market is trying to do with my mind's eye, nothing fancy, no fancy tools, just looking left. And then I'm assuming the floor will give way, right? In order to fulfill my outcome, the floor must give way. And so I'm preparing for this, right? If it bounces and goes back up and starts to make higher highs, all bets are off. Right, so there we go. Some of that recycling action. I lost track of the number of trades we've had so far. We were supposed to, stop at 20 pips or 20 trades. I think I'm over that now. So another 20 minutes and I'll have to let you guys go. Perfect. All right, give us green candles so that we can sell them. All right, so without any drawdown, without going into boxes 3 and 4. So we have experienced boxes 1 and 2, right? We have experienced pullbacks, right? So understanding when to pick a fight and when not to pick a fight, right? So there's chances to make money in both instances, but one might cost you more time than the other. So right around here, if I can sell this, anything green or pushing upward right there. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so I put the 4 clicks that belong in that box. All right, so now that I'm in this, or now that I was in that bottom box, I'm allowed clicks in that bottom box. Right? Sell. Actually, no, I can't. I've already spent my money. If you can sell, I'm I'm thinking for 2 people. Right? So we are waiting, to recycle these trades so that I can reopen them. That's why I'm holding back from clicking, even though this was so attractive. Right? And so it's like on a diet and being presented with a bar of chocolate. You have to hold back, restraint, self-discipline, all that good stuff. I'm sure a few of you in here have gone through this. All right, there we go. I recycled a couple. Boom, boom. Yeah. We trade like the Flintstones, right? No tools, no nothing. Come on. The waiting is the toughest part. We're gonna run for 2 hours today. Then maybe we'll be able to buy at the lows. They'll make for a longer YouTube video and all that good stuff. Right? So if you have money to spend, there's a green candle. Oh, there was a green candle. Our average bars right now are 4 pips. Our target remains 3. So this helps to guarantee the target, right? It guarantees that we will exit if we pick the right candle, the top of the green candle. If you're trying to sell, it's a good chance that the next candle will get you out if you're selling at resistance, right? If you're buying and you're buying at support, do it on a red candle. The strategy is to keep moving, keep the willingness to be wrong open, right? It's open-minded. It's really, it's objective trading. I'm creating a delusion in my mind on the daily chart, and I just want to see it fulfilled. So, yeah. So there's all these green candles. The candles themselves are starting to shrink, right? We're down to 3.6 pips. And so if you really focus into this, it's a little triangle, and the triangle has a flagpole, right? And ideally, it should lead us in one particular direction. We know where we want to play, right? Let's see how much of this has been done and how much is left to do. All right, so today, so far, the day has been 60 pips. The average is 79.5, right? So we have 2 more boxes. Where's the next 2 more boxes coming from? Well, let's add 2 boxes here, and we're probably right in the right zone. Right? So in this area here, we want to become buyers. And we might just get here around the banker's close, right? When the European banks are closing for the day or shortly thereafter. Right? So let's just rinse, wash, and repeat. And then we can, you know, relish in our success at the end of the day. Go back to the 5-minute chart because I want to keep adding the wrongs to my ladder. Somewhere around here. I'm just doing this with my mind's eye, right? Trying to space them apart. I notice how they were up here, and so I just estimated where this one should be, right? Overall, the average is about 9 pips between these lines, thereabouts, right? And so we know we have a trajectory. We're just trying to follow it with our 3-pip trades without over clicking along the way. Right? Beautiful. That's what we want to see. Okay, so now that we're recycling trades, right, we're in the position to open those trades again, right there. I just took one, and I'm waiting to see if we're going to retest this area here. Oops, this area here. If it pushes up, I'll reopen my trades. Now I have 0 trades, and we've been trading for about an hour, 48 minutes. And this is what we've done. I think we've done pretty good. No, we did all right so far. Let's continue. We want to continue to sell expensive, like so, in order to become buyers again. And I keep repeating myself, but it's important that we keep the plan in mind, in the forefront, because the market is trying to have you give up on your plan, right? The market is trying to convince you that you're wrong. It's this machine, and it's an illusion machine, and it's the next illusion that will trip you up. And so, dig your heels in. You know what your job is. You predetermine that, and you predetermine how much money you have to do the job. And now you're just executing, as you see fit. You're not being bullied. Right. So if it pushes higher, I'll sell more. But right here, I sold enough. Right? Something like that. If I can see it go around here. If not, right? So now I have more trades to recycle. It's awesome. Right. So as we approach down here, right, probably around this box here, I'm going to start to buy. And even if I go into drawdown 1, 2, 3, or 4 boxes of buys, I'll be okay with that. Right. Now remember what we're doing, right? We don't want to be the ones holding the bag, right? Everybody around us is looking at this, and in their mind, this is going to the South Pole. And so they're going to be selling it to us. Yeah, right around here, I want to see it bounce up so I can sell more or recycle my sells. I'll make this green so I remember to buy. All right. Successful day today. Not too much drama, not too much anxiety. Everything's playing according to plan, according to, our thesis. And because we're not over clicking at any one step of the way, we have backup for the backup for the backup, right? We always have 3 boxes above and beyond what we're doing here. right? So if it pushes up, sell again, just like that. 1, 2. And I want to save the next 2 clicks that I have for the upper half of the box. Like that. Now I have 1 click left. And I'll take it right there. Right, so I just keep recycling my trades. My average is in my box. My targets are in the box. I'm looking to be bouncing around. And if it ends up bouncing out of the box, it allows me to spend more of the same money, right? Another 1%. And so I can't borrow from Peter to pay Paul, but I can also, if I don't spend it all, I can carry it forward, right? So, if I only put 1 click in one of the boxes, I can put the remaining clicks in the following boxes. The idea is to try to spread things as evenly as possible, right? And the market conditions, you know, the candlesticks unfolding give you the possibilities, and you're trading the possibilities. So sometimes there's just no trade to be had in the box, or it flew through the box and didn't give you a chance to take a trade, right? So no 2 boxes are the same content, but the boxes itself are exactly the same. All right, so we're still looking for lower lows on the day before we become buyers, probably into tomorrow too, right? So like I'm thinking buy down there and hold it for a while. Here's a chance to recycle. When we do this on YouTube Live, I'm gonna have to figure out what the delay and the lag and stuff is, because I'm sure there'll be people trying to follow along, and that will create havoc. I'm gonna have to have a ticker tape running. It says, you're looking at delayed data. Yeah, I don't want a delay. Right? Yeah, someone says my broadcast software. I know the software has it built in. Even if I remove it, if I put it to 0, it still shows up on YouTube 20 seconds later. It's not instantaneous. There we go. Right. We're trying to recycle. Boom, boom, just like that. Oh, that's a YouTube short right there. I have it. I'm just kidding. I have more fun trading than I do on YouTube. But this whole social media stuff it's a good hobby for me to have. It keeps me from over trading, and it's good for me to, spread the word. All right, green candle. I can recycle a couple of clicks like that. All right, so where did we break into this box here? All right, so the break happened over here. And so now our expectancy is that we should stay in this current box unless we break out of the current box, which might happen anytime. Right, so every time we break, we are now into a new space, and we're expected to stay in that new space until we break again. And sometimes we break in the opposite direction, right? So the box as a call to action on 3 sides. You can't ignore that. So I want to see green candles so I can recycle my money here. Like that. Right. So this level here might be trustworthy, worth taking a trade or two. We're getting to the top of the hour, right? So what are we looking at here? A pullback on the hourly candlestick, right? What does that tell us? Well, in my mind, I'm thinking the next candlestick, which is about to start in 2 or 3 minutes, is probably going to be bearish, and it may have a wick on top, right? So it may go up here before going lower. So if it does go into box number 2, I have money to spend there. If it goes into box number 3, I have money to spend there. If it stays hanging around this box before falling down, I have already spent my money. Yeah, YouTube, good hobby, but a lot of work. I've noticed over the Christmas holiday there, I uploaded 30 videos in 5 days, and I had to re-listen to a lot of my own voice. I hate myself speaking. And so, but yeah, it's uh, now as long as I watch my speech and I don't talk about stuff I'm not supposed to talk about, then we're okay. The strategy works. I'm not afraid of showing it off. It, it's not the fear of loss. It's it's almost ego that kept me off for so long. And like I don't like my picture. I don't like my voice. I've never been. I'm an introvert. But yeah, who cares now? With this leukemia, it's the it's the time that's running out that's leading my life, and I'm not worried about time running out, but I'm trying to make the best use of it. And I want to have a record. I want to have a legacy somewhere on record. Right? So I just took one more click. And if I get into this area here, I'll be clicking my little heart out. Oops, sorry. Right around here. It's another one. Right, this zone right there. Right, so we're budgeting the clicks, we're allocating the money ahead of time, we're planning, plan B, plan C. We have all these alternative uh, entries planned out in case this box does not work the way we expected it to. Right, it's the roll of the hour. Right, going on to a new minute in 10 seconds, 20 seconds, anything can happen in the next minute. Right, we're probably going to go up a little bit more before we fall. There we are. And so if I can just get up in that box, it's teasing with me. Look at that. Ugh, it's okay. Deep breath. in the ballpark. Yeah. Come on. Right. So we have one more hour together. Uh, I'm hoping to, keep selling what the same way we're doing. And sometime in the next hour or so, I'm hoping to turn into a bull, right? And start buying the low and maybe hold that bias maybe into tomorrow. Right. So let's go take a look at the daily chart just to see why. Right. I'm thinking this right here will be beneficial to us, right? And we might find support around this zone here, just like we did here and we did here, right? So that's kind of what I have in mind, right? And then ultimately, somewhere around here, we want to sell again, right? We just don't know where. So one day at a time, right? Ultimately, because you're limiting yourself to your 2 hours, there we are. You're limiting the risk, right? You're avoiding the other 22 hours that can come at you from any direction. So it's within that 2 hours, you have a certain behavior, you have a certain expectancy, yourself are behaving a certain way, right? And there's nothing that can, well, I should say there's nothing. There's a lot of things that can come that you've never seen before, but you'll take a note, you'll learn from that outcome and you'll try to remember the next time around, right? You're creating a library of events, of things that can happen to you in your 2 hour window, right? For me, I find myself located at one position on the chart every day. And with that in mind, I approach the market a certain way. You need to do the same thing. It's like driving to work with your eyes closed. You have to know exactly the environment that you're in, right? So right around here might be uh, a place to sell. And then if you have a little bit more money, sell it a little bit more, right? But you're not going click, 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 click. You're pacing yourself through the box, right? And it's only because we want to see a lower low before we go higher. If we don't get there, we have a position built at resistance, right? And then our goal will become break even first and anything beyond, right? So we built a position going back to our 5 minutes between the rungs, right? Between this rung here and this rung there, right? So is it going back up the ladder or is it going to get stuck right here? We'll find out. Feels like the old Batman TV show, we'll find out next episode. All right. All right. So we built a position between two boxes and we're expecting to see an outcome favorable in this direction, right? And then we want to start buying down here or over here. The goal hasn't changed. Sometimes it's the time of day that slides, early or late. So on our 5 minute chart, we're testing this. And as a range trader, we would expect to be selling that. because of this. Here, here. Let me remove that. Because of this right here, we want to see a reaction off of that. Beautiful. Okay, so those of you that have been following along this morning, you're probably done by now. Like I'm sure you've met or exceeded your 20 pips or 20 trades, whatever it is your average might be. Right. So try to not over trade. And if you're looking at time to limit your trading, then understand that, by New York lunchtime New York, you want to be finished. Right. So even if you are right now pushing your luck, it's running out. YouTube has a 2 hour limit on the video uploads. And so even this video here, I'm going to have to keep it to within 2 hours. See what happens next. So close 3 more. Perfect. Let me remove this. Okay, so we just want to see more of the same. If it pushes back up here, sell this. If it finds its way here, you have money for that too, right? You have money for this, you have money for box 3 and 4. And so we have a direction in mind, we have a plan in mind. Executing the plan really, really is the next biggest issue. If you're selling gold, the next move is coming right now. Let's see. So recycle the trades that you have. 1, 2. It looks really busy because we have, 10 open trades between 2 boxes. Right? But ideally it's the spacing, it's, volatility, it's time, it all pieces that come together and, pay you in due time. Right? See this level right here? This is where we are now. I'm just going to turn off the deal map so that we can see better this area right there. Go here. I want to go See if I can make it like a really bright color. So if you have a trade to reopen, put it there. If you don't, that's okay. Good job, Francisco. Done for today. Awesome. Follow the plan, right? Go to the beach or go back to bed. Whatever your schedule calls for. If you're finished, you're finished. There's no need to, do tomorrow's work today. Well done. All right, let's see this resolve to the downside. And then we can buy somewhere around the lower low, the low of the day, the real low of the day. And then we'll play that as we see fit. All right, remember the average daily range. It is an average. And so it's conceivable that we come short of the average. No, it doesn't have to be dead on the money. And so it could be on either side, right? Give yourself the room, give yourself one box, of 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 leeway. This is my idea is to start ahead, right? I want to start one box ahead, right? Because I don't know. I might be missing the low. It might not even make it to my green line and go right back up without me, right? So I'm planning to start buying earlier, right? This is why we have the 4 boxes and we're expecting to survive an average move, right? So right around here, if you have the money to click it. We're waiting for a move lower to close some of these trades so that I can actually become the buyer that I'm looking to become. Right around here. I'll do this. I'll change this to green. All right, so a little bit of drawdown. We're done today. What does it show me? Oh, this has to be until midnight. The account is moving nicely. Perfect. So there's that yellow line we wanted to test. I'll put my that's the last click that I'm allowed to spend in these 2 boxes. If I want to spend more money, I need to wait until we get into this box up here. If we go into this box up there. Right, so that's the allowance that I have. And then beyond that, I have 1 more box if I need it. Right, I'm allowed 4 boxes. Right, so I've spent the money that I'm supposed to spend here, so I'm not going to click there. If you can, go ahead. The thesis remains the same. We're testing this support or resistance. Support is resistance, and we expect a low from here or move lower, right? And then from here, we want to start buying. Okay, so if we can get into here, I'll put money. I'll put money in that box and in this box. Right? But it's if. If we don't go there, I'm not risking more money. Time will tell. At the same time, while we're doing this, uh, while we're just sitting here waiting, we have to come up with plan B, plan C, come up with these alternatives, right? So when we're looking at stuff like this, and then I am looking at stuff like this, and I'm looking at stuff like this right here, right? So I'm planning ahead where I'll be spending the money that's allowed to be spent. Right? So it's this keeping me active, less anxiety, less stress, more control. And if I give up that control, if I surrender that control, the anxiety goes back up, the stress goes back up. And so it's me that controls what happens to me. The fact that the money is allocated was a big, big, big relief. Knowing ahead of time how much money I was willing to spend, right? And before, I was willing to take trades, but each trade was different. Each trade had to be accounted for, and the risk reward ratio had to be figured out and then allocated. And now this allocation is done up front, right? Here we are in that box. That's one click right there. If I can get to that line that I determined was important. Right? A little push up right there. Boom, just like that. So let's go back to the daily and see what happened. Where are we bouncing right now off of the daily? Right, so let's take this line, put it right on the tip of the candle, right on the tip of the candle, and look left. These two lows, this wick right there, that wick right there, that wick right there. This is a nice support area, right? We're in the zone. We are in that zone to expect a bounce. Right? So my expectancy is actually a little bit lower, somewhere near here. Yeah, right there. Right? So just below these lows, I think is where we're trying to go today. Okay? That's enough to cause a lot of pain, and it is still supportive. And the market is not it's in the business of causing a lot of pain. Right? Right? So we don't know the future, but we have a plan, and the plan must be executed upon until it's no longer valid. Right? So this is where I want to spend my money. 1, 2. I'm putting 2 clicks there. And if it goes to the upper half of the box, I'll put the other 2 or 3 clicks that are allowed in that box. And you'll notice the white line moved up by the time I put the clicks in box number 3, the white line will be in the middle of box number 2. So that's the average that I'm controlling, right? I'm spreading my risk. In the end, it's the same as though I'm risking 4% of my account on one big fat trade, right? But all the while, we've been making money, right? So instead of having one big fat winner, we have a whole bunch of tiny, 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 tiny little winners. And over time, we control what happens to us, right? We control where the outcome for all of this is. We engineer this outcome. Oh, look at that. So we are financial engineers. There we go. Recycle your trades in box 3. Box 1. If we get back to the top of the box, I have money that's allocated to be there. Trading probabilities. It's a blast. Today is Wednesday. Yep. Slowly but surely, things are progressing. No, this is where the patience is required, right? When we laid the trap, now we're waiting to get paid. Yesterday, waiting to get paid took pretty much all of the US session, right? So this is the idea behind making the 3 pips, 3 pips, 3 pips. And then if you're building a position like me with an expectancy, uh, try to not touch your targets, right? Then you get paid over time. If you do move all of your targets to an ultimate goal, to one big target, and you're building a swing position, uh, that's a different challenge, right? It's you may get a portion of that target, you may get none of it, right? I would rather make 3 pips along the way. And if it only goes, half of the way to my target, I've made money along the way. So it's the discretion in money management, right? What's your goal? What are you trying to achieve with today's work? Right? For me, it's an average. I just want to do same or similar as yesterday. 0.5%, 1/4%, 0.5% per day. You know, 1/4% per day is 20% a month. Or no, sorry, 5% a month. I mean, we don't need miracles. We don't need uh, crazy stuff. This is beautiful. Right? So now we put money in box number 3 that belonged in box number 3, and it's about to pay us. Right? And the money that was already in box number 2 that belonged in box number 2 was in drawdown momentarily, and now it's back in play. Right? So it's this recycling and the recycling and the recycling that makes you money while you control the risk. Right? So if I was a gambling man, I'd put it all on short right now. $9.29. 9.26. Come on. All right, so the UK fix came through. You can see the size of the bars, right, compared to the average bar. And now that we are at the bottom of the hour, we're going to start setting up for the banker's close. And along with that setup, if you were to put Bollinger Bands on here, you're probably near the edges of the Bollinger Band. And that's kind of, we would expect a push off of the Bollinger Band. And that's what we see here. We went from the outside band, we crossed the middle band, and now we're at the opposite band. Right? We went across the Bollinger Band. We've just moved 2 standard deviations. And so now we're waiting to see if we're going to ride the Bollinger Band up or if we're going to come back to the opposite Bollinger Band right here. Right? Let's put a Bollinger Band on here. Volatility. There we go. Yeah, that's okay. Right. So we went from one side of the band all the way to the opposite side of the band. Now we're back to the middle, and we're probably going back to the opposite band. And that's the kind of stuff we're expecting. If we change the parameters of the Bollinger Band to something more realistic, like 60, because that's the size of our box, right? We're not quite there yet. Right? So we'll go from here, and probability speaking, the probabilities speaking for themselves, we should come back to here. Right? So we're willing to sell all the way up to there. You don't need Bollinger Bands. We can take them up. $9.30, another 30 minutes or so, and I'll have to let you guys go. Let you go with the plan like we did yesterday. Right? So the plan hasn't changed. We want to be buyers once we've made a lower low. Right? So once we've made a lower low on the day, we want to start buying into that lower low, expecting a move back up. And even if it's not today's move back up, it may happen overnight or tomorrow. Right? So it may happen in the next 24 hours, not necessarily this instant. All right, so here we are recycling more of our trades. If it makes one more push up, we would expect it to come up to here. We saw that with the Bollinger Bands a few minutes ago. All right, so I'm a seller, and I'll remain a seller all the way up to there. Okay, that's why we allow the money up front. And then we kind of take the money that we have and try and recycle it because I only have so much of it. And green candle, I'm in the box. I'll take that trade. And that trade actually belongs in the upper box. right? So I just broke my own rule. Eager beaver that I am. Right around here. Oops, sorry, right around here. There. That's what we want to see. Right? A ton of rejection at the top. We rolled over the hour. It's now 9:31. Beautiful. So if it gets back up here, I'll sell. So the market went from the low. We moved up 1, 2, 2 and a third, 2 and 2 1/4. And now we're testing that second box. All right. Normal. Everything here is just as we would expect it to be. And we saw from the Bollinger Band a few minutes ago, we have an allowance all the way up to here. Right. And then our bias tells us the retest of the bottom band, the lower Bollinger Band, is what is where the outcome is, or that's where our outcome is. And so we've structured a position to take advantage of the way towards the lower Bollinger Band. Right? If you use MT4, you can shift the Bollinger Band forward, and then you shift the Bollinger Bands to the right, and that will show you the box. Right? C Trader doesn't give you the opportunity to shift the bands. Right? Because I put the bands at 60 bars, 2 standard deviations. Right? You would want to shift the bands by 60 bars. Right? So you'd push it forward into the future 1 whole hour. And that gives you a box into the future, like this box here, from that corner into the future. And you can see how we broke out of the Bollinger Band, right? And so it's this idea that it's just a frame of reference, and it refers to volatility, and so does our box. Bollinger Bands are dynamic or fluid. They change with every new bar of data. And my box never changes with every new bar of data. Right. So I keep things standard. It's easier for me to think things through. All right. So let's go back to let's check the 1 hour. So here we have big, huge, bearish hourly candle with a small body, or sorry, a small bullish inside bar. Right? And from last week's business we were dealing with, we know the mother bar, the measure bar, as the control. And so because we're still inside of that bigger hour, it's as though nothing's happened. It's as though that green candle doesn't even count. Right? So we have to assume a bearish bias. And now that we are at resistance, good place to assume that bias. Right? So that's, if we get up in that zone there, I'm selling what I'm allowed to sell up there. right? So the inside bar to the measure bar, right? So there's a big, big, big hour, and we're small inside of that. Looking at the 5 minutes, we already assume this is holding. And we're now going back down the ladder as we see fit. Right? So with this in mind, going down 3 rungs, 4 rungs maybe, that would take us there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So I can't open any more trades until I start making 3 pips. Beautiful. More of the same would be nice. You know, big red candles and small green candles. Big red candles and small green candles. Over and over and over. We're coming up to the top of the hour in about 20 minutes or so. The banks in Europe will be lining up to close. And so we have to expect volatility is incoming, right? We don't know which direction they have in mind. You know, we don't know what business they have to achieve for today, but we will be here to see it through, right? We will survive whatever they have in store for us. And it's not because we're afraid, it's because it's the timing, it's the schedule. And it is, probability speaking, contained to these boxes, right? So where are we now? We're halfway amongst the 4 boxes, right? 18 pips from the top, 18 pips from the bottom. And that's kind of what we expect. Right? So let's position ourselves to exploit the next move. Right? The next move is unlikely a breakout, and it's very likely a bounce. Right? And not a random event, but a bounce from this bigger level here. Let's change the color of this to like yellow or purple. No, can't see that. All right, so this area here is all the same. This right there. Right, so just keeping things as simple as we possibly can. Even if it pushes up one more box, right? We have allocated the money, we have allocated the risk that should belong in this box anyways. And so we're not doing anything wrong by just following the process. Right? It's the issue is we don't trust the process. And so you'll be afraid of doing what the process tells you to do. 880 is still the target for today. 880, 885, somewhere around here. If I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, it's 885. Let's use a real horizontal line instead. 885. Right there. Change this to green. How far are we? We are 3 boxes away to the pip. I'm not making this up. Right? We are 3 boxes exactly. Right? So let's measure 1, 2, 3 boxes. The target should be right there. 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Nice. Right? So let's envision this coming to fruition, right? What needs to happen? Well, resistance needs to hold. And if resistance needs to hold and we have money to take advantage of that resistance, we know where to spend the money, we know how much we have, and we know where we're wrong. And even when we're wrong, we're not wrong everything at once. We're wrong in layers, right? So you can still survive and fight, fight, fight. You know, it's like a fish out of water. You can still find water. You can find moisture, right? You'll be able to engineer this white line with space. Right? So space is not a problem. Space equals time. And in our brain, time equals money. And that's where the problem is. Right? You're sitting here doing nothing. In your mind, you should be making money, where in fact doing nothing is what you're getting paid for. Right? Don't chase stuff like this. Right? Higher highs, higher lows, yes, but not to the moon. Right? To resistance. And not some random resistance, but that level that's been in play for a long, long time. Right. So that's kind of what we have. We look left, we have a clues in the clues closet. The clues closet is always on the left. We just have to find the clues that are there and then make them part of our puzzle pieces, introduce them in that puzzle that we put together every day. Right. The idea behind the top down is to gather this information, information gathering process. You put the pieces together, and if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you find out you're wrong an hour or two later, right? Like this here. When we're wrong up here. When we're right, everything works out an hour or so after the fact. Right? Just like it did yesterday and the day before and the day before. Right? So we're getting about 15 minutes to the banker's close. I'm curious to see what they'll bring with them. Like though, just like so. Okay. Gold is at 2033, and it's also ready to make a move towards 2010, 2015. Just in case you're out there wondering. Right, so one more leg down. That's all we want. We structured ourselves for this. And if we did our analysis, if we did the top down analysis properly, this should resolve in something like so. And because it's near the end of the day, i.e. the end of the calendar day, the 24-hour day, we might just waffle sideways for a couple of boxes. And then tomorrow, I would expect a bullish move. And tomorrow, Thursday, I would expect a bounce off of here to go up, and maybe Friday also, right? Bigger picture stuff. We'll see it if we see it. Anything can happen between now and tomorrow. And ideally on an hourly scale, if you guys are here for 2 hours per day, you're only here for the next 2 hours, right? You're only here projecting the future for 2 hours. And you're playing that delusion, you're playing that projection of what you see as, fact. You're playing it through this ladder. And this ladder becomes, translated into boxes. And the boxes are dynamic. You can stop and start the boxes on swings, whereas the lines are static and the swings are created at the lines. Right? So this is where I'm expecting stuff to happen, and this is where I'm trading the facts. Right? And the facts tells me I need to put this box right there on that swing and remove these two boxes because this leg up is probably finished. Right, so now I'm just getting things ready for a break here. Right? We don't know what's coming next. We can only track it as it's evolving. This tells me what should happen next. And this tells me how I'm getting there in real time. It's resetting the way we think about the market. Our brain is it's like it's on tracks, and it's hard to get it off those tracks. And our brain runs away. It's like a runaway train, right? You see a loss or you see red drawdown, and your brain instantaneously assumes the worst case scenario is unfolding. It's not. It's just a range. And within that range, you can make money, you can position yourself, you can go have lunch and come back. There's all these things that are expected to happen within a range. And then the breakout, that's what we end up dealing with as in the fix mode, right? So it's not the break that's the problem, it's the psychology at the time of the breakout. The panic sets in instead of executing their plan. Right? Our plan unfolds or it doesn't. And the doesn't part, when it fails to unfold, it requires involvement from our part. It's not, oh, I'll just let it go to the stop loss. Okay, so let's watch this unfold for the next few minutes. And then I'm gonna have to let you go. But I've given you the idea of what to do next, right? So you want to see this waffle its way down into the close of the European day. And then sometime in the US session, with only North Americans trading, we want to be participating in the opposite direction, right? So we're going to be finding a low and then probably buying into that low, right? So thinking the next move, if this move is unfolding the way we see fit, what will be the next move? Well, this will be the next move, right? So at 8 o'clock, we were dealing with this and building a position along this way because we know this is coming now. And then whatever this unfolds, we have a plan for the next leg, right? Just like a chess game, you're one move ahead, right? We are one move ahead of what is actually unfolding right here, right now. Right. So anything can happen from the bottom of the box. We could go back up, right? What if it does go back up and do it? It does a third box, right? That's quite doable. There's nothing that says the market can't do what it feels like it wants to do. Right? So it's a non-issue. There we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Looks nice. See, that's the kind of stuff we want to get ourselves in, right? If we can get to recycle some of these clicks and reopen the same amount for the same outcome. No one trade here is worth more than the others. They're all worth the same. They're all paying me the same. I'm taking the same amount of risk with the same clicks over and over and over. And I'm generating a cash flow, right? And the cash flow uh, is, you can compound the account, you can withdraw the cash, you can do whatever you want with it, right? But it's something that you did out of probabilities, not out of luck. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go a few minutes before the top of the hour. And here's our plan, right? You guys remain short. Don't touch your stop losses. Don't touch your targets. If you have the time remaining, so if you haven't fulfilled your 2 hours, or you're not done trading, you may be a participant down here. Okay, so uh, go slow, go easy, 3 pips, 3 pips, 3 pips, let it unfold, right? And then when these trades here are closed, I'll take a snapshot, I'll put that in the video, and then this next leg, I won't do anything in this account. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, same time. Okay, and trade safe until then. Enjoy yourself. Don't go spend all your money. Bye-bye.